Do you know how long it's been since I've done this thing that we're about to do? I am jacked up. I haven't done it since I've been back.
It's Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
It's Math Tuesday.
Let's go.
Here on Texas Football Today, where we dive inside the numbers on Texas high school football. And we've done a lot of stat digging about players, about coaches. One of the things that I want to do, inspired by what we announced on Monday, which was the winner of the 2025 TexasFootball.com Texas High School Ball Stadium Challenge, which was won by the Tomato Bowl in Jacksonville. I wanted to take a look at Texas high school football stadiums. And I think that's one of the things, it's kind of the doorstep, I think, that gets people into Texas high school football. Because every year, about 8 times a year, social media goes nuts because of some post about a stadium in Texas. And I think it's easy for us as people who swim in the soup to get inured to it and just be like, no, yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. I think it's really important that we don't take for granted how good we have it and how wild it is that these stadiums exist.
Yeah.
Like, that you take a look across Texas high school football, and even the stadiums that I think most people would call like an average middle of the road stadium, in almost every other state, that would be among the nicest stadiums and biggest stadiums in the state.
I think it always hits me when I see photos of other states playing their state championship games, and they're playing at a stadium that I would consider that would be a fairly rundown stadium in the state of Texas, and for them it's where their state championships are.
Okay, so I want to give you an example, okay? And let's use one that is near and dear to your heart. Llano Stadium.
Yeah.
Okay? Llano Stadium, by Texas high school football standards, is it's nice.
Yeah, it's a normal high school football stadium.
Seats about 3,500 people. Really nice turf. It's built in 1971. Everything about Llano Stadium's it's pretty nice.
Yep.
If you dropped Llano Stadium into Missouri,
they'd be like, welcome to Jerry World, basically.
it would be the most crazy. That would be the craziest thing they've seen in quite some time, and that I think is something worth celebrating and remembering about how good we have it. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to go to one of my very favorite websites on the internet, TexasBob.com, run by a friend Bob McSpadden, which has the Texas high school football stadium database. The database. We love TexasFootball.com, and this was years ago. This is just how being the editor-in-chief works. I just knew we were beat by Texas Bob. It's we could try to compete with him, but we like Bob, and why? So we just partnered with him, and now we link back to TexasBob.com. All that to say, it is the Texas high school football stadium resource of record. And so I want to measure Texas high school ball stadiums, and the most remarkable ones, in 2 different ways. And the first way I want to do it is the oldest, because we talked about Jacksonville. Jacksonville was built the Tomato Bowl was built in 1940. So it got me thinking about the oldest Texas high school ball stadiums. And I want to be clear that these are stadiums that are still in use, that they are still home fields for these places. And there may be renovations that we'll talk about, but these are the oldest Texas high school football stadiums. And the oldest one is probably not one that you would think of. In fact, I think a couple of them are going to be surprising. Lang Field in San Antonio, which is home to the Yellow Jackets of San Antonio St. Anthony Catholic. Lang Field in San Antonio was built in 1910, and seats it's about adjacent to Trinity University. St. Anthony plays there. It seats about 750, but it has been around since 1910. Right behind it, in 1915, Legion Stadium in Marlin.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Been around since 1915. Now, they've poured a bunch of resources into it, and they've renovated it, but it's on the same site. It's the same, bones of the stadium. And so Legion Stadium is the second oldest stadium in Texas. Third a favorite of ours, R.R. Jones Stadium in El Paso.
I am going to put this on wax, the GOAT.
1916. It's everything a Texas high school football stadium should be. Mm-hmm. It's big. It's like beautiful.
It feels historic.
It's unique.
It's cool enough to look back up and see obviously the school right there. It's even cooler to look the other way and see all of El Paso and Juarez.
Next up, out east, Bruce Field in Athens, built in 1922. Coyote Field in Richland Springs. They've been playing there since 1925. One that I had actually, this is true, I had never heard of, but Shaw Field in La Force. Shaw Field is one of the finest six-man football stadiums or fields in the Panhandle, and they've been playing there since 1927. Good field house out there in La Force, up there in the Panhandle. And then Unicorn Stadium, also opened in 1927. They're in New Braunfels. So those are the oldest stadiums in Texas high school football. And
over 100 years old is wild.
Yeah, exactly right. It is really, really wild. And so, let's see. Let me do, if you're interested, next up would be like Lockney, opened in 1928. Hondo, Berry Field in Hondo, 1928. Hearn, Woodfield opened in 1929. So did Bart Cone Field in Fort Davis, and Jackson Field in Alpine also opened in 1929. Okay. So the oldest stadiums in Texas high school football. But of course, old is part of the allure. But when people think of Texas high school football, they think big. Mm-hmm. And so these are the biggest stadiums in Texas high school football by capacity. Okay? Now I want to be clear. Of course, AT&T Stadium hosts the high school football games. That is, in my view, not a high school football stadium.
No, that is the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
That is the home.
Be honest about it.
Exactly right. And there are other places. For example, I'm not including Toyota Stadium in Frisco, which seats a little more than 20,000.
Okay.
Even though that is a home field for some teams, in my opinion, that is not a high school football stadium.
Yeah, I think that you could say that if when it was built, the intention was not for it to be high school, then it really shouldn't count. Like you could also count NRG,
yes,
absolutely. Or the Alamo Dome, or the list goes on and on.
DKR even, The biggest in the state is Happy State Bank Stadium in Canyon. Seats 20,000. I need to get up there. I heard it's awesome.
That's why they host so many playoff games.
Absolutely. Next up, one of my very personal favorites, Mesquite Memorial Stadium, with the big old radio tower in the end zone. Seats 19,400. We do not appreciate how big that stinking thing is.
No,
it's
huge. Massive.
And sometimes, especially playoff games, that thing gets rocking. The Rock Pile in San Antonio seats 19,000 at Alamo Stadium. Another one underrated, Farrington Field in Fort Worth is huge. 18,300. Right behind it, Eagle Stadium in Allen. I think that's not surprising. That made headlines when it opened. It seats 18,000. It just edged out Ratliff Stadium, the historic Ratliff Stadium in Odessa, which seats 17,931. San Angelo Stadium in San Angelo seats 17,500. And then down another kind of underrated one, Stallworth Stadium in Baytown seats 16,500. That is a big, big stadium down there on the bay there at Stallworth Stadium. So,
you know what's shocking to me about that list? None of the Houston stadiums are on there.
Right.
That's crazy because I would say that there is probably a larger population of really nice big stadiums in Houston than anywhere else. And the fact that none of those are on there is crazy.
Do you know what you end up seeing? So, like, for example, I'll give you an example. Legacy Stadium in Katy is big.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Very big.
Real big. Seats 12,000. Okay? Seats 12,000. The Barry Center, right? Cy-Fair FCU Stadium. Let's see. Let me find. I'm searching Texas. It seats 11,000.
I would say 15. Yeah, that's crazy.
Huge. But I think Houston has a ton of them that are in that 12,000 range. Children's Health Stadium in Prosper, 12,000. McKinney ISD Stadium is around that range as well. That's really the sweet spot, and it feels big. I
think a lot of those stadiums that you just listed too, a lot of the a lot of the allure there is like they're very new. They've got really nice, like the press boxes are massive, like all of that kind of stuff. So I think that adds to the stadium allure because they're really tall and they've got these 3-4 story press boxes.
Another perfect example is like Pridgeon Stadium in Cy-Fair, which is massive, seats 12,000, right? It's kind of wild that we're talking about 12,000 as being average, but like that's kind of that sweet spot I found for those big stadiums is 12,000. So anyway, there you have it. We
love talking about stadiums, man.
Love stadiums. Love stadiums. A look at some of the most remarkable Texas football stadiums on Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.